1 year ago, I took a week vacation just by myself, and it was one of the most important things that I have ever done for myself. In today's episode, I will share with you why I did it, exactly what happened, and why I advise you to do the same. In your life, you're the most important person, and that's how you should treat yourself. Let's jump into the story. Last year, in the summer of 2020, I took a vacation just by myself, and that's what we're going to talk about today. And I'm going to share with you as well more about the situation, and I want to show you how powerful it can be to be with yourself away from home and what it can do to you and for you. So last year in the summer, I took some time off of work with a burnout. And I was at a time that I just couldn't cope anymore with the demands at work. I was in a lot of difficult emotions. I was very much overworked and stressed out. And this has built up over probably all the decades that I really worked. But there was a time finally that I had to take the time off. So I was at home, first of all, for 2 weeks, and I just couldn't switch off. There is always something to do, right, when you're at home, even if you're off of work. There are chores to do, there are things that you can take care of. You can go out with the dog for a walk. You can take care of the meals at home. You can do some DIY jobs. So really in these 2 weeks, I did not really switch off to the degree that I probably needed to get over this burnout, or to deal with, there is to be dealt with, so to say. After the first 2 weeks, I saw that I wasn't really getting anywhere. I wasn't getting really better, other than that I was not at work. So I decided to go away for a week just to be with myself. And to be honest, I've never done this before. Of course, I have had times where I was by myself, but not really for a week and away from home without any plans or activities. So that was really the first time. And I made sure as well that I would just go to one place. I wouldn't travel around. I really was concentrating and consciously booking myself into a week away from home, away from to-dos, away from activities that could distract me again from being with myself. I knew that staying at home would just not work anymore. I needed something else. Because I kept myself the whole time distracted, I just wasn't getting any better, and I knew that at some point I need to return back to work, and I needed to shift something inside of myself, right? We spend, of course, a lot of times as well outside of ourselves. We are not very used to sitting still and being inside of us, listening to our own voices, being aware of the emotions that are going in ourselves. So that's what I experienced in these first 2 weeks, that I kept running away from being in this uncomfortable place of feeling my emotions, questioning maybe why I am at this place and why I have this burnout. So it's very easy for us to keep ourselves busy with things outside of ourselves. Like I said, the chores, the to-dos, the DIY, the taking care of others. These are all outside things. And I was not taking the time to be inside. That's why I decided to go and really put myself out of my comfort zone, beyond my comfort zone. And we know all these days of the comfort zone, and that it's very comfortable inside of the zone, but that real growth and real development happens if we go beyond our comfort zone. So that's kind of what I decided to do, to put myself into a place where it's really hard to stay in my comfort zone. There was not really much to do. It was kind of a middle of nowhere. I consciously didn't book any activities or took too much stuff with me to do, so I wouldn't be able to go back into my comfort zone and just have a week away, but not really being with myself. And of course, I decided as well to do this because I knew the option is not to stay in this situation for much longer. And you might be feeling a similar situation where you are now at a point where you feel, I do not want to stay longer in the situation, in the circumstance and the feelings, the emotions, the frustration that comes with that situation. So maybe that resonates with you, to being at a point where you say, no longer will I stay in this, something needs to change. And I knew as well that I didn't want it to go back to work being the same person and being pretty quickly then stressed out again. I knew that something had to shift. It was just not an option for me to stay at home for a few weeks longer in this burnout situation and not deal with what needed to be dealt with, and just going back and living through the same, so to say, hell again. It was just not an option. And that helped me, of course, making that step, whereas you might not be there yet to say the pain is not big enough yet, it's not crippling you too much, but you might be on your way. So think about it. Are you already on your way to that? Are you maybe even thinking that you might be coming closer to something like a burnout? And if you say yes to that, consider what I'm talking about today. Consider as an option. And there are many options. This is just one of them. And reflect on it if you think that you are potentially on your way in a situation where you feel, no, I do not want to keep going like that for the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years. So I was now a week away without any plans or activities booked. I did take things with me. I took books. I had a mindset course. I took pen and paper to journal on. A day started with long meditations. I enjoyed the mornings on the balcony. I had breakfast, and then I went on a hike for 1 to 2 hours. I really enjoyed the nature. I would sit a lot and just look and enjoy the nature around me. In the afternoons, I would watch a mindset course. The course that I actually took with me was from Joe Dispenza. I journaled a lot on what I learned in that course. I journaled as well on my situation, of course, with the burnout, the situation that I wanted to get out of. I did some yoga. I relaxed in the sauna and read a book. And I had dinner, and I would go early to bed. Yeah, that's kind of how my day looked like while I was away for the 7 days. I as well did not have a lot of contact to back home with my husband. I would not make friends there because that would be again a distraction from what I was doing there and why I was there. I was really consciously making sure that I was being with myself. In that week, I had so many realizations, bigger ones and smaller ones. The biggest one for me was what I wanted to do in my business. I was at a stage where I knew I'm creating a business where I want to help people, where I want to coach people. But I wasn't at a place where I knew in what direction of coaching I wanted to go, or what kind of people I wanted to help, and with what problems. And I was mulling it over already for months. And I kid you not, on the first day, in the first few hours when I was there, I had the realization what I wanted to do. Really, it was mind-blowing that it was just 2 or 3 hours into my stay by myself that I had this huge light bulb moment, and I knew what I wanted to do, which is working in the topic of energy, spirituality, with the science in the background. So everything I'm doing now, what I'm doing today, and helping people to have more energy back in their lives to do what they wanted to do. So this was just a huge breakthrough for me. And I literally had it at the beginning. And it kept on kind of going during that week that I had other big or small realizations throughout that week by myself. I made sure that when I was on the walks that I would sit in silence, that I had time to listen to my inner voice. It was kind of having conversations with myself. I made sure that I appreciated the nature around me and that I didn't distract myself with listening to music or a podcast or an audiobook. I love to do that. I love to go out with our dog and listen to a podcast or an audiobook to leverage that time for learning. But in that week, I consciously did not do any of that. So I was really in the present moment while I was walking in nature. I was connecting with nature. I was seeing so many more things that you would normally not see if you're distracting yourself while being on a walk. So it was kind of a being present exercise that gave me a lot of recovery. It gave me energy back. It gave me clarity, new ideas, and new thoughts were coming to my mind. I did a lot of meditations. I really did about 2 to 3 meditations every day, shorter and longer ones. They were guided meditations, and they really helped me to work through some of my beliefs and through the unwanted emotions that I was facing. And I really truly believe that it helped me significantly with my progress in that week and with the development that I experienced, that I spent a lot of time in meditation. I journaled a lot, which is a great habit because it opens up the doors to your subconscious. You have a lot of information in your subconscious, much more than in your conscious mind. Multiple thousands and tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands more information in your subconscious and unconscious that can come up when you are meditating or you're journaling. These informations that can come out of the subconscious can give you new perspectives, new ideas, and these realizations. By being quiet and putting your thoughts and emotions on paper, you are opening up your conscious to having information that are really valuable and important to you come to you. So coming back home after this week, I tried as well to build a lot of these practices, meditation, journaling, and being with myself more into my daily routine. And I was able to go back to work 2 weeks later, and everything kind of shifted and everything changed. I was able to since then as well, build more of these times that I experienced in that week away into my life. So I don't always have to go for a week away every 3 or 4 weeks because I feel too stressed again. No, I was able to bring these learnings, these experiences back and see the value in them and bring them bit by bit into my life. I would not have been able to understand what that actually means or how it benefits me if I wouldn't have had the experience of that week away with myself. Because we often talk about taking time for ourselves and doing something good for ourselves. And I always knew that concept beforehand. And I think when I did it, I never felt this true benefit or having this real understanding of what it actually means. So I think before I had this week away, I would experience time off differently and not to the deep level that I then experienced in that week away. That week away did not just give me all of the insights, all the realizations and the progress and growth that I experienced in that week, but it has as well an effect on my life now because it gave me a lot more connection to my true self and a better understanding of how I can look after myself to be more productive, well-balanced at work. And yeah, I will talk in another episode a little bit more about how I came back to work and what has shifted for me and how I'm so much more relaxed now and much more able to deal with conflicts or maybe even drama at work, which just doesn't touch me anymore these days. So more to come on that in another episode. I think the biggest learnings I took out of this is that I know now how powerful it is to be with yourself for a dedicated time without having the usual distractions that life brings to us. It is not easy to take time away like this, what I'm describing here, and it's not easy to get away from your family, your work, your responsibilities. But foremost, you have the responsibility for yourself to be good, to feel good, to be healthy, especially mentally. It's like they say on an airplane in an emergency, put the mask on yourself first before helping others. If you feel good and you have access to your abundant energy, you are so much more helpful to others. And let me tell you, so many things that you saw before as an issue or that triggered you throughout the day, they just magically disappear if you have had this experience and you can build this into your life. Think about it. If you want something to shift fundamentally in your life, I truly believe that being with yourself alone, away, will move you a huge step further on your journey. And if you cannot make it for a week, try to make it for 1 or 2 or 3 days. And don't try to distract yourself during this time away. Try really your best to truly be with yourself, your thoughts, your emotions, and connect on the inside with who you truly are. I'm doing this now minimum once per year, and I can't wait to go the next time in anticipation for what kind of next huge mindset shift I'm gonna go and experience. And I would love for you to have the same experience. I would love for you to make this fundamental shift that you so wish for in your life. Okay, I love you and leave you, and I will talk to you soon.